Well, hello and welcome to our listeners and viewers. This is Radio Entrepreneurs. I'm Phil Sharkey, the president of my company, the Higher Authority Pre-Employment Background Screening, and I have a great pleasure to introduce today our guest, Michael Kerr, who is the Creative Enterprises founding director for the Montserrat College of Art right here in Beverly, Massachusetts. Michael, my daughter just graduated a musical theater major, so I'm a big person, a supporter of all the arts. So I'm glad to have you on board and welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Michael, tell me, I got the title there, and I know I read your bio. Very interesting regarding you leading the development of student-run ventures and employer relations, connecting the art and business and community impact. Such an important connection. Tell me about what you do there. Is that sort of the gist of it, or I'm sure there's a lot more involved?
Yeah, so we are starting a creative work initiative starting next year. So 2026, we're having every incoming student employed on campus for 5 hours a week minimum. And that's going to be for their whole college career. First, for the first few years, freshmen are going to be working on campus. So we're building a lot of on-campus jobs, things that
Right.
are starting, a lot of them don't have work experience. So this is a good
Sure.
place for them to just get a sense of the work environment. They can work with faculty, staff. However, as they progress, juniors and seniors, upperclassmen, we want to give them real outside facing experience. So my job is creating student run businesses on campus. And so I'm creating ventures that are outward facing. So I'll give you an example. We've created a design studio. We work with a semi-pro soccer league. We work with a high-end restaurant. We're designing logos. We're designing menus. And our students are working with the clients directly. And the idea is that when a student graduates, they not only have a BFA in graphic design, but they have 3 years of experience to boot, which just puts them in a way better position for the job market.
So true, Michael. And I really like the progression you mentioned as a freshman. There's so much on your plate initially, and
Yeah.
you want to sort of dip your toes into it and start to move along. And as you progress in your college career, it seems like it gives you such a lead up on the competition. There's so much competition today that this really benefits their time there at your college and gets them well down the road by the time they graduate.
Yeah, that's the idea. More than that, too. I mean, so when I was onboarded, my question was like, listen, do you want me to start businesses that employ students, or do you want me to start student businesses? Because those are different.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a both. So one of the cool elements about my job is I can work with students to establish themselves as they start their own business coming out of this. So one of my designers is, I'm pretty confident, going to start his own design company when he leaves. I've found that artists actually make the best entrepreneurs. And I'll tell you why. The When a plumber goes home, he's not working on his own pipes. The last thing you want at a family party is as a nurse is to start diagnosing people's ailments. But an artist, they work an 8 hour day, they go home, they go to their studio, they're working, they're creating, they're painting,
Yeah.
they're designing, they're sculpting, whatever. That's the main aspect of entrepreneurship is you never stop working. I mean, there's always an invoice to file. There's always um, books to be balanced, whatever.
Right.
And if you already have that mindset, if you're already so invested in the work, you're just in a great position. And what I found is there's just a disconnect between the actual artwork and then that entrepreneurial administrative background aspect. So yeah, I'm really excited to sort of build students up in that side to say like, okay, here's all the tools you need. Here's all the experience. Here's what this looks like. And then, when they graduate, have them start their own thing. So
It's so true, Michael, and I know it really speaks to our line of work here as entrepreneurs. And I know my business, it's just a different mindset. You can work for a company or you can have your own company. As you mentioned so well, I'm never not thinking about it. 24 hours a day, things will pop in my mind. I'll jot them down. Even after doing my business for 25 years, it's always an ongoing business. So as you said, it's a different mindset and a different, I even said one time to people regarding health and coverage. I go, entrepreneurs don't get as sick as other people. It's just
mhm.
not given to you, so you don't take it. You're always at your desk, at your podium, whatever your passion happens to be, and usually a lot more driven than just the regular person. Not to critique people who work, irregular jobs for a living. It's just a different notch for sure.
Yeah, and I mean you got to love it, right? And that's why they're all here. I mean, they're here, they're doing their art because they love it. They chose
Yeah.
that path, and to put them in a space where, listen, you can make a living and you can run your own thing. here's the nuts and bolts of it, and go off. And then yeah, I mean that's yeah, it's work, but it's also a lot of fun when you like it.
Absolutely. Now, Michael, what led this to yourself? What led you down this path to where you are now? And what's your history that's taken you to this current place?
Yeah, so out of undergraduate, I had a degree in professional writing. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I found myself at my family bicycle shop. Um, I was just a wrench for a year or so, but I saw a lot of operational elements that I could take over. Like, listen, we're doing pen and paper here. This is the digital age. Let's make our work orders digital. Man, it'd be a lot better if we started keeping track of our inventory. We'd know how much we have. Little things like that added up.
Right.
It turned into a full operational overhaul, a full rebranding effort. And this is before I knew what rebranding even was. And we went from $100,000 business to a $500,000 business in about 3 years. So
Outstanding.
I just had I had an aptitude for it. So 10 years of that, I became more business development side of things. COVID hit. It was time for me to do something else. I went to get my MFA, so I'm a fiction writer. Um, During that time, my wife was trying to figure out what she was doing. She was a florist, so brick and mortar stuff.
Yeah.
Um, we were out in Colorado, and I was like, "Listen, you can just start your own thing. The cash flow of this business is requires very little startup cost. Why don't we just do that?" And it just launched her career, starting her own business, which was wildly successful, far more successful than I expected to be. Um, and so coming out of that, I had a background in academia, I had a background in the arts and this business, which just put me at this very unique skill set for this position.
Yeah.
So I was really excited when it came up, and that's kind of how I ended up here.
Outstanding. And Michael, how about the setup there? Is there a large staff that works for you? Is there a huge group movement to work this initiative and get the students into the proper place?
Yes, there's a lot of energy behind it, which is great. I'm a part of the career design center, so I'm like the specific side of things.
Right.
There's the student employment side. My side, it's nice because things don't have to happen right away because we're waiting till um, freshmen become seniors, so it'd be 2027 until these things have to happen. However, we already have the design center running. We have a mobile art gallery. We have a animation film fest crew right now. We just by sheer luck we landed into this building that we now have that we're turning into the creative center of Beverly, which is really exciting. So
Excellent.
on the second floor we have artist studios, affordable artist studios. On the first floor we have creative businesses, and in the basement we're working to make it some performance space. And so there's a lot of opportunity to employ students in different ventures in that space, which is really exciting. So yeah, I think I'm a little bit of a different. I work fast, right?
Yeah.
I always got to do the next thing, and I think they're really excited to have someone like that in this space. But
Yeah, that's that
donors,
entrepreneurial spirit right there, right? You're constantly
exactly.
going and thinking one step ahead or two steps ahead or three steps ahead for sure. So,
Yeah,
Michael, what do you think our business owners out there, entrepreneurs should know more about the program as they see these youngsters moving out into life? What would you like them to know about how they can assist or look for these people in the future?
yeah. I mean, I guess just to say that coming out of Montserrat, we have so much talent, and so much energy. I had 10 students working on just on a project on the side this weekend, and I was so impressed. I mean, I've worked with a
Yeah,
lot of people. They did not stop moving. They did not stop moving. They kept working. It wasn't always the most pleasant work, and they just kept going. And I didn't hear a single complaint. And yeah, I mean, there's a common myth behind the artist and artist degrees being having no return on investment. And I just think it's about that connection. It's about connecting the actual experience to the on the ground uh, job market to say, look, like these people just need to be given that one extra piece. And look, here's where it can go. I mean, you have a parents and a student walk in on admissions day and say, okay, but like, what are you going to do with an art degree? I can say, look, here we go. We have this
right,
design center. We have this fabrication studio. They're doing real work.
right.
Here's what the numbers look like from last year. Here's how much we made.
Yeah, what a great selling point too to see that as I tour and can make my choices and considerations. It must really be impactful for sure. Michael, what role do you see AI in your realm there? I know it's such a new venture and so much evolving. Is that becoming a factor for your students?
There's definitely concern about it, but it seems it's less than I would have expected. The work that I see them do is there's a want for a human element, put it that way.
Yeah.
The semi-pro sports league, when they came to us, brought us some AI work. They're like, hey, listen, this is just conceptual stuff. But their main thing is like, listen, we want to be integrated with the community. We want to be working with students. We want to be a part of this. And I think that is irreplaceable. Like I think you could have something create some image that's close to what you want, but that human element, I just yeah, you can't get that anywhere else.
So true, and that's a strong belief in my feelings as well. Where do you see this evolving to, Michael? As I don't know, this is a new program that you're involved with, or where do you see it the next 3 to 5 years as it keeps progressing? What do you think will happen?
3 to 5 years. I mean, in the next year, my goal is to have the businesses self-sustaining. So whatever money that we're making is funding the labor of the students. We're fortunate because we don't have a lot of overhead. The overhead is just built into the institution itself. So internet, electricity, the software we use. But my goal is to have them self-sustaining in the next year. I would love to have 5 ventures running simultaneously,
Excellent.
and all employing the upperclassmen, junior and seniors. I mean, we're working with a lot of partnerships of outside companies for students that want to go out and like I really want to work for. There's a toy company that's in North Andover, for instance. Like I really want to work for them. It's like, okay, we can make that happen. But yeah, I mean, the idea is just to make as many opportunities as possible for the students to get the experience that they want. So when they graduate, they're ready to go.
Sounds outstanding. Sounds like a hell of a program for sure. I want to remind everyone we've been speaking with Michael Kerr, who's the Creative Enterprises founding director at Montserrat College of Art. Michael, if our listeners are looking to get in touch with you, needed to reach out to you, how would they do so?
They can go to the website, of course, michael.kerr@montserrat.edu, if you want to get in touch with me directly. Um, but the school website's a good option as
Sounds
well.
great. Michael, this is very interesting stuff. I appreciate you being on the show today, and joining me for this interview. I hope you'd like to return someday in the future and give us an update, let us know how things are transpiring.
Yeah, that'd be great. This was wonderful. Thanks, Phil.
Sounds great. We'll be back with more stories right here on Radio Entrepreneurs.